Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, please feel free to leave a like, subscribe, comment, do whatever you want. We're all friends here. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I've been using a concealer and a setting powder to do like a nude neutral brown eyeshadow. So if you want to see that, stick around and welcome.
What with her friend but kept her head in the books. It never was by the shape, it always been by the look. Inside the hallway, she always found herself with the crook. She made it all the way, there's even though the life had a truck. She only in the drug dealers, she only want a thug nigga. She say she know how to thug girl.
Today's video is going to be a little bit shorter than my last video. That last video was kind of long. I'm going to be showing you how I've been using a concealer and a setting powder to do like a more neutral nude eyeshadow, and it's like real quick, easy. It literally takes me like anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes. So enjoy the rest of the video. And so first, starting off, I'm going to take my Morphe micro brow pencil in shade Chocolate Mousse. Couldn't find it for a second. And what I'm gonna do is just do my brows really quickly. I say really quickly, but it still takes me like 10 minutes probably. And if anything in my background looks a little bit different, it's because I'm making a video redoing my entire room, which is gonna take like months to do. So like those lights are new, my bed is lower because I got rid of my old bed frame. Things are moving, I just can't show you everything yet. Okay, so now that both my eyebrows are done, I'm gonna be showing you the little hack that I learned. And I learned this on social media. Like, I did not come up with this at all by any means. I just don't remember who. I wish I would have screenshotted it, but I saw it like a while ago and I was like, damn, I want to try that, and I haven't tried it yet. Well, I've tried it, but I haven't tried it like on camera on any of my social media. So I'm going to show you the products I'm using, how I did it, and how it comes out. Like, I'm going to try not to have any cuts on this part right here. So without further ado, today I'm going to be using the LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Cool Tan. And this is actually a color that I had for my professional kit, and I tested it out using that, and I was like, ooh, I like this, so I got it for like myself. Then the setting powder I'm going to be using is Maybelline Fit Me in shade 25. So these two together. And the color or shade you use obviously depends on like your skin tone, how dark you want the color, how light you want the color, whatever. And you could probably use your like own, because I know a lot of people use these to contour or bronze. So I'm sure if you already have the color, you can use that as well. Because I know a lot of people use their contour and bronzer and like take it up and blend it into the eyeshadow. So you can do that too. And I'm just taking some and I'm putting it on my little mixing palette, because you know, I don't want this on my hands. I'll take about like that much, which is just like, I'm gonna take this little brush that I always use for my eyeshadow primer, just like a basic dual fiber brush. So I'm gonna take some, like tap it out a little bit, and then go straight on the lid portion of my eye. Just kind of pat that into place. See? We gotta get the mirror because it was like, and then I'm just gonna buff out the edges a little bit. Just use, I use patting motions when I'm using concealer on any part of my face, but you can swipe, you can do whatever you want. This is just my preferred method. I'm just patting it dry. And how far you take it up your eyelid is up to you. I like to leave about like maybe like a centimeter or half a centimeter of space between my eyebrow and where the eyeshadow stops, so I have room to like blend it. I'm just making sure this is like nice and dark. So then I'm gonna take the brush that I normally blend with, which is a Morphe x Jaclyn Hill JH33 brush. I wish it came with black fibers, not white ones. But I'm gonna take it and blend out like the outermost edges of the concealer, just like lightly. And because it's concealer, it's not like a powdery eyeshadow, it's like a thick creamy concealer. I use a mixture of like pulling motions and swirling motions. It's really like whatever gets the job done at this point. See, if you leave like a little bit of room, you can blend it out like perfectly. And even this, like, obviously ignore this eye, even this is like a good base to start with if you wanted to put on darker brown eyeshadow. If you want to leave it like this, it's like a good base to start with for darker shadows. So like you don't have to buy like a P. Louise in a darker room or shade. You can just get like the cheap concealer from Walmart, Target, where we like to shop at, and it's super unaffordable because let's be real, unless you're someone who is like super into nude eyeshadows and you do it every day, most people aren't going to use a P. Louise shade not in their color every day, and those are expensive. They're like $15. I'm not spending $15 on something I'm not going to use every day. Hell no. But this is not the final, but this is like finished for this step. So I'm gonna go do this one off camera and then I'll be right back to show you what I do with the powder. So this is both eyes done with the concealer trick. Next I'm gonna be taking the Maybelline Fit Me Powder in shade 25, and I'm gonna be taking a Real Techniques 402 brush. Looks like this. And I'm using this, like I have a brush that I strictly use for setting powder so it stays nice and dry and I can take it with me wherever. But this is like a darker color than I usually would use for my setting powder. So if I use it and then I go to use my setting powder, it's gonna give me like a weird like cast. So I'm using this one because it's smaller and I don't use it, like I'm gonna clean it obviously. So there's already some because I love doing this so much. Just take like a little bit, maybe like this much, no more than that. And then set it right on top. And I'm literally gonna go over like every part of my eye, even where I didn't put the concealer directly, even where it's blended out, because it's still concealer. So I don't want it to budge or move anywhere. And if there's any like color payoff from the setting powder, when I wipe it off, it's gonna come right off. So just kind of pat it, pat it, pat it, pat it, and that's it. I'm just gonna do the other eye. And that's it. See how quick and easy that was? I'm just gonna like get the excess powder off on my hand real quick, and then take the side I didn't use and dip into the powder and just kind of like tap away any excess setting powder that stayed on my eye. And that's it. And what did that take, like 5 minutes, 7 minutes? Like, of course, because I'm sitting here explaining, it's gonna take longer. But on the days where I'm not, like when I'm just doing it just to do it for my own makeup so I can get ready and go, it literally takes me like 4 minutes. because it's just like boop, 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 like 1, 2, 3, quick and easy. Now I'm gonna wipe off like any of the setting powder, anything that got caught underneath my eye, and I'm gonna be back to do the rest of my face and just kind of hang out. So what I'm gonna be using is by the brand Milk. It's called Hydrocrypt. If you have dry skin, literally chef's kiss, a lifesaver. So but this is like, I'm working through a sample size, whatever. So I just take like 1 pump, literally all you need, and like warm it up in my hands. And I like to pat some all over the face, and then I'll go in and rub. The foundation I'm going to be using is the MAC Studio Fix Fluid in the shade NC15. And the foundation brush is the e.l.f. buffing foundation brush. It looks like this. And even though this foundation is a little on the expensive side, it's like so worth the money. Like, it's a, like, obviously it's a liquid, but it dries to a powder and it's perfect. Like, so I'm gonna pour some out onto this little palette that I have that I put the concealer on, and I'm gonna put it all over my face. I'm gonna try to do like a time lapse, but I can't promise it's gonna work out. So my face after I put the foundation on, and I like to not go all the way up to my eye so that there's not so much product when I put on like the concealer and the setting powder. Speaking of concealer, I use the NARS. I'm still going through this like sample size. I'm gonna buy the real one soon. And I use the shade Vanilla. And then the setting powder shade I use is the Maybelline Fit Me in shade 10. Maybelline Fit Me Powders are amazing. And to blend it out, I use the Deluxe, what is this? A Deluxe Crease Brush by Real Techniques. It's number 300. And then my setting powder brush is one of the Bratz collection brushes because it's like the perfect shape to get close to your eye. So this I don't care because the sample size, I'm going to throw it out soon anyways. The real one, I'm not going to be doing this with the applicator, but because this is so small, it's going to get thrown out like before it's expired. And I kind of do like up into the inner corner and then drag it along and pull it out a little bit, but I don't do like I don't do that anymore. I close it a little bit. We ain't so crazy. And then I just pat it out with the brush. Then sometimes if the line is too harsh, I'll go back in with my foundation brush and kind of like blend it. But today it's not too bad, so I don't have to mess with it too much. So the only other places that I put concealer are my chin and then my forehead. her. We're all done. And like you can see, I don't bake. I just like set like a really light layer and then dust it off, because dry skin and baking is a no-no. See like the littlest bit and just like press it into the skin. So that's it for the foundation and concealer setting powder all done. And I'm gonna let this like dry down a little bit, and then I'm gonna go in with the bronzer and blush. So I'll be right back. So moving on to blush and bronzer. The bronzer I'm using is the Kylie Cosmetics in the shade Khaki. It's still like the old formula, so it's still like good pigmented. I heard the new one's like, ain't it? And I'm using a Morphe M177 bronzer brush. So I'm just gonna do this real quick. I really like don't even like contour anymore. I just rather use bronzer. And what I like to do with both my bronzer and my blush is concentrate it like in this area, and then like once I have most of the pigment and products off the brush, I'll bring it forward a little bit. Not a lot, like not close to my mouth at all, but just like a little bit. See? Perfect. And then just take a little bit and I do like these 2 points in my forehead. Just because I don't have a big forehead, so I don't need to do like a whole line. I just do like the points so it all kind of like evens out. Because it would look weird. Like you see how this is like, you can see it. It would look weird if I had like everything else bronzed and stuff and this was just like blank. It would look like a billboard. And then I'll just take a little bit more and just kind of like run it under my chin. Just so everything is kind of like cohesive. So next is blush. I'm going to be using the Milani Wild Rose Rose Powder Blush, and I'm going to be using a Morphe M553 blush brush. I love that it's like literally it's one swipe. And again, I'm going to be using the same method where I like concentrate it in this area. I'm going to be using the same method where I concentrate it in this area and then just bring it out a little, like as I get the product off the brush. And I've been loving bringing my blush all the way out here, like not a lot, just like the teeniest tiniest like shade of the blush, because it makes it look like, I don't know, you get just like a sun-kissed glow. Like it's not the full-on like e-girl blush, but just like a little bit. Like I spent a little bit of time in the sun is what it looks like. Like look how pigmented that is. And then sometimes I'll flip it over to the clean side and just kind of like blend it. So in between, like now that my entire like face is done besides like the highlighter in my inner corner and my lashes, obviously I like to take the Maybelline Lasting Fix Setting Spray in like a hairspray, like hairstylist bottle, just because the mist is way finer. And what I'll do is, since it's a matte setting spray, I'll spray my face down. Let me shut this palette. I'll spray my face down, and then if I'm gonna use highlighter, I'll put the highlighter on top so it doesn't like mute the highlighter. And the highlighter I like to use for my inner corner is the silver highlighter in the Nikki X Ofra collab. And I'm using a ColourPop L1 brush, which is a super skinny brush. And I'm just taking the silver color and like really loading it on my brush. And then just going in the inner corner. See, highlight, no highlight, highlight, no highlight. And I haven't been liking to put regular highlighter on, like, I don't know, I'm just kind of over it. And that's it. I'm gonna go do my mascara and lashes off camera, and then I'll be back for like the lip liner, lip gloss, and like my final like b-roll. Okay, so I totally forgot to record when I was doing my lip liner and lip gloss, but I used the Red Rose Lashes lip liner in Morena, and I used the NYX Butter Gloss in shade Sugar High. This is the video, the final look. I feel like this look is totally perfect for like going out at night, going out to brunch with your friends, going to work. So if you enjoyed this video, if you want to see more content from me, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you stay tuned for my whole room redecorating video, and I'll see you next time.